Good morning. Happy Sunday, you guys. You're absolutely right. I am ecstatic. It's almost like reading this Bible. It's the coolest thing on earth. And it's every time I do it. Look, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna show you, man. Guys, raising the hairs on my arms. It's just the coolest stuff. Anyways, I got to get the good sleep on, and generally things start mowing around in my mind, but all night long. And it's like when I wake up and there's this sleep when you're just barely awake, or when you're asleep but you're kind of like grazing. It's like it's telling you time to get up and pee. You're gonna mess the bed or something like that in some kind of way. But it was it seems like I'd be waking up and I'd be going through the chakra system. I'd be talking about something. It seems like it's like in my dreams. It's just, it's inside and out. It's like, and I admit that this is all I want to do. It's all I want to do. But I'm not that kind of a rich guy. I can't do it. And and now that I know that rich people don't get in all that way, unless they convert. That's all it is. It's not like rich people can't do it. It's just that this becomes their stumbling block, because what the fuck do we need this for? And just keep God on the outside. They've got plenty lifetimes. They're not in a position to feel this kind of pain. Their pain is, all I see are GMO products. But rich people are important. They to me, but they're the people that have the extra money to buy paintings and stuff like that for me. And even those people that don't have it, that's what my public art is about. Everything is free to them. And those people that wish to support me in some way, buy a painting or give me a little job or something. But I've always got a little thing going on. It's been many years, and it's word of mouth. There's no business cards being given out. It's all referral. And that's the way a lot of people say it's supposed to be the way to do it. I don't like to be what other people tell me or what other people do. But it's a path. And there's plenty of time to try all these things out. But when it comes down to this business of God, and this business of you and your health and your well-being, the idea of having yourself a balanced and peaceful mind, and how that balanced and peaceful mind that has its way of cleaning the environment around you of other such negativities. It's almost like we're some kind of like a giant vacuum. If we were all doing it, then listen, if we were all out there one giant cleanup day, it'd be interesting to see what would happen. But that one thing is that everyone has been gathering from wherever they are in their worlds, in their countries, pulling it all inside themselves, just taking it all in, all the pollution and all the hate and all this, being a part of it, and then go inside, give it to God, cleans the dross out of it, gives you peace of mind, and takes that garbage out of the world around you, And then the more people that this happens, it's great. It's a wonderful thing, And it's kind of like a vaccination of some kind, but not without, it doesn't have any formaldehyde and mercury and all those things that try to kill the body. It's the opposite. You got to understand that the outside world wants to kill you, is out to kill you. It's just that death is out there. And what the stories are saying, we're going to give you everlasting life, but you have to die to get there. And of course, it makes sense then when one of the old Confucius sayings or something like that is that, or some when you're in the Tao, is that once you've died, you'd never die again. It's over with. What the hell is this flying around? Of the James story yesterday, I missed out on one of the things down here. It's the eighth one. All right, and I'm going this way on purpose. Okay, what they're telling you about there is the first one is talking about the works. It actually talks about how things are. It's the introduction to yourself, and what it's telling us in 8, which 8 is a control number. All right, because usually when 8 comes in, generally this is this is the new you. This is the Cinderella's her carriage being drawn by 8 horses. Okay, but if it's not, it's the opposite side of that. And so what we get here, because it's we're looking at worlds here, that would be a double 4. So that's the left and the right side, and both of them are on the lower end of things. So what you get here in 8, it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Double-minded man. All right. I know it doesn't take much to tell you to show you, or to instill in you the idea of the double-minded man. And instead of going in and connecting them into one, you become a one-minded man. So you have 2 half brains don't make a whole. All right. What I wanted to get into is the Hopi prophecy, the end time, the prophecy rock. And if you have ever, or if you could, go and listen to the elders talk about that, and you'll see that they're talking about, saying these are double-minded men. The first 3 are double-minded men. The only thing is that they have the two ways of life. Is you can follow the physical or the material path, or you can follow a spiritual path. But they think that the whole thing went down. That it even tells you where the World War I, the word of ashes and stuff like that. They've got part of the story right. This is why I said, how do I know this? Because the code, the way the code works. The first 3 guys that they're talking about, he says those are the double-minded men. And the one on the 4th one is one guy. He's got both heads. He's got one head, and the other one has a delta sign coming down. That delta sign means that he's connected, and it also has a feather in it. That's the whole idea. There's the world. 1, 2, 3, 4. That represents the intellectual side of us, and it represents the I'm always mixing up on this here. The emotional side of us, the physical side of us, and then once there's a line right there. There's a line in rock that then once you get to this line to 6. Then on the other side of that is this wonderful thing. Is you're now one-minded, and you got a feather in your hat. And of course it's all being stemmed down from this little guy who is in a posture of maybe just sitting down. And he has a bow in his hand, which means he's trying to reach up higher. And he also is holding a staff, and it's that long staff that has all that information being pulled out of it. That's the 4 worlds. All right. I also went down and checked out my old past here and found that story that I reference all the time as the 4 musicians. And that is a story. That is a child's story, supposedly, and it was handed down by word of mouth for centuries before the guys of the Grimm recorded it, brought it to life, brought it into mainstream. Whatever that mainstream is. And it talks about what happens is it starts off as this, a couple, and they're the guy that's been doing all their burden, lifting all their work and doing all their business, is growing old. And he's no longer doing the job that he was supposed to do. And the wife and the father, or and the owner, decide that they were going to just kill him. They were just going to, why are we feeding him? It's stuff like that. So the story starts off is that this animal listened to its master, heard it was going to be, terminated because it wasn't working anymore, took off on its own little path down a road. And then as it went down this road, by the side of the road, the first thing he picks up is a dog. And this dog is, whining and crying. Oh, why are you whining and crying? Oh, my master is he's gonna hit me in the head because he's gonna, kill him, knock him out because he's no longer hunting anymore correctly. That's the inside of us, the hunter. And he says, well, why don't you come with me? I'm running away to the big city so that I could be a musician and stuff like that. Why don't you come with me? So, then they go to they're going down the road, and in the middle of the road is a cat. Oh, and guess what? It's a one-eyed cat, all right? And wailing and crying, it's she. And he looks and he says, what's the matter with you? You're the singer, you're the greatest singer, and oh, my master, she was going to put me out, she's going to kill me, the same idea, And he says, well, you got such a great voice, you're a night singer, and you come with us. We're going to the big city so that we can make music together and see what happens to this. And they're going down the road a little bit further, and they look up and they come across this giant farm, or a farm to the side of the road, and it's a field. All these things are out in the country. And they come across a rooster, and he's just crowing and crowing and crowing and crowing, and they're all down there, bravo, bravo, bravo. What a wonderful sound. What is it you're saying? What is it? And he says, oh, tomorrow is going to be beautiful weather for my, for the banquet on Sunday, on the big feast on Sunday. And I found that I'm going to be the one. It's going to be a great day. And he says, oh my God, And of course, they tell him, well, why don't you come down and run around with us? We're going to the big city. We're going to make a big noise there, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. He says, they'd probably be a lot better than losing my head, because their master's going to cut their head off. Okay? So, anyways, they're all wandering around, and it's getting nighttime, and, before nightfall, they got to find a shelter. And, of course, they looked, and they could see way off into the woods a little house. All right, so they all crept up towards this house, and they noticed there were people in there, and they was the robbers, they called them. They were the robbers, and they were eating the feast. The whole inside was all full of food and everything, and all they thought about, these animals, was how to get in there. I want that. We've got to run those guys off. That's what we want, So how are they going to get in? So what happens is that the donkey puts his feet up on the edge of the window, which is a 6 ledge. The dog scurries up his back and sets himself on his shoulder. The cat then climbs up him and sits on top of his shoulders. And then the bird comes flying in and sits on top of the cat's shoulders. So what do we have next? They all in one accord, which is really which is the four chords coming together, the 4 worlds coming together. And they instantly fell through the window and scared the shit out of those people that were inside, and they ran off. Okay, now during this time, they eat up the feast, they're eating, how it works, and then the robbers, at nighttime, they turned the lights out and they went to sleep, and the robbers, they came back and they said, do you think they're still there? Do you think they're still there? Oh, no. Well, let's go check it out. We'll send one of our guys to go check it out, because they wanted to come back and take over their place. This was theirs. It was the robbers' place. And so what happens is they're all sitting in different places. They're all sleeping in different places. Like the donkey or mule or whatever is outside in the yard, and of course, the guy that is the dog is sleeping just behind the door, and the cat is in the kitchen. That's where, the one-eyed cat, this is what happens. She's in the kitchen, and her eyes are like fire, and she's sitting by the hearth. And then we have the chicken, the rooster, the flight, the one that has to deal with, flight, is on the roof. And as this guy comes through, he's sneaking in, he makes it into the house, all right? But while he's there, he goes into the kitchen to get to see what's going on. He sees these lights. And as he's done, this cat scratches him. And then he takes off running, and he trips over the dog. But actually what he's doing, he trips over the dog, but he tells his buddies, he tells the whole story when it happens, but he runs to the dog, and the dog, he says, the dog is the symbol of the knife, because he says he ran into a man who stabbed him at the door, and as he was going out into the yard to keep running, because he's running out now, that the donkey kicked him or on the head, or beat him over the head, and somebody was crying from up above saying, "Send that devil up here," to me. And so what happens is they ran them off. This was the new conscious. This is my new place, and I want to show you that's all these they're all saying the same thing. They're all telling the same wonderful story about coming inside and cleaning house and getting rid of that double mind. All right. So we need to help our brothers, these people that are reading these prophecies and all on the negative side. The religion has really fucked them up bad, and this is your mind on religion, It's like that thing with all, when you're cooking something that's just fried or something like that, this is your body. But what we're finding out is that somehow you have to go through it. You have to go through the hell. But it sounds like, it can be so delicious that you can be in hell forever. And so that means you're dead forever. So if you can get on this other side, you'll be alive. You're alive now. You'll be alive next time you're alive too. You'll be alive for all the rest of eternity. That's what this means. This is what it means to go up there and catch this business. And if someone's jealous of you, or because they really don't talk about going out and say, but I gotta teach it. So they say that these prophets, like himself in here, the skin is never liked in their own hometown. So, oh my God, so I started off being liked, and I don't want to go into being hated. So, but that's what this information seems to be able to do to someone. They say, oh, who are you? I said, well, I am someone that can teach you to do the same thing. That's who I am. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. I'm a messenger. But remember the messengers, what happened to messengers, you guys, So, I'm giving my life for this, Is what I'm asking for in return? Everlasting life. All right. Beautiful morning, you guys. I love you. You take care of yourselves. I want you to read these books. I want you to understand, All I'm doing is finding more and more and more evidence and showing and proving that this code exists. And that it runs in everything that is truly legitimate, that has to do with this God. All right? And so, the truth hurts some people. Let it hurt them. It says it's got to hurt you. You have to have enough of it. So, like my tongue and my fire, that tongue and the fire, they're the same thing. It's the 5th chakra, right before the 6th. You have to open your mouth. You have to say something. You have to, I am had enough. Free my people. Because it can go good or bad, depending on your double mind status. Good morning.